Missing to murdered. The bodies of a Knox County mother, her son, and a family friend found abandoned in some rural woods in northwest Knox County. Tonight, we wait for questions to be answered as the sheriff prepares a statement. NBC4 at 5 starts right now. Good evening, everyone. We thank you for joining us. I'm Cabot Ray.
And I'm Ellie Merritt. We have team coverage of this developing story tonight. Our Tom Brockman is live in Mount Vernon, where we are awaiting word from the sheriff that the bodies of Tina Herman, Cody Maynard, and Stephanie Sprang have been found. Our Marcus Thorpe is live in northwestern Knox County near that scene, and Steve Wainfor went along with rescuers as they searched for the bodies this week.
Now first, let's talk with Tom, who has more of the details from the investigators this evening. Tom is there in the Knox County Sheriff's Department tonight, waiting for the sheriff to appear. We understand he really just got there a few moments ago. Is that right, Tom?
Yeah, well, what we've been told, originally the press conference was scheduled for 3 o'clock. Then Sheriff David Barber postponed to 4 o'clock. This, of course, coming after the news that we had heard they had found the 3 missing individuals that people have been searching for a better part of a week. Now, at 4 o'clock, someone came out and said that they had postponed it once again. They were not very clear in terms of how long of a delay we are going to have to be sitting through. So we've been standing here in the lobby of the Knox County Sheriff's Office awaiting word from the sheriff in terms of what exactly has transpired. But what we do know is that the 3 bodies have been recovered. That of Cody Maynard, Tina Herman, who's Cody's mother, and family friend Stephanie Sprang. So what we're really wondering right now is we want to know more information. We want to know in terms of what about Matthew Hoffman's alleged involvement perhaps in this. We know he's in jail on a $1 million fine on a kidnapping charge. Could he now be facing homicide charges? You know, what led investigators there in the first place? There are still a lot of questions to be asked, and we intend on asking these questions as soon as this press conference does get underway.
All right, Tom, thanks a lot. Stay with us. We are now showing you live pictures, and it's a tragic day, and this is certainly a tragic sight, a confirmation. You can see the 3 white hearses there that are there to transport the bodies that were found in that heavily wooded area not far from the Kokosing Reservoir. This is in northwest Knox County. And
we have our Marcus Thorpe, who is joining us live on the phone right now from that scene from northwestern Knox County. Marcus, what is unfolding there right now?
Well, Ellie, as you mentioned, and Cabby, you mentioned as well, this is the news that nobody wanted to hear. Nobody wanted to see it end this way, but unfortunately, it appears as those hearses start to load up those bodies that it truly is a tragic situation here. What we can find out from earlier today, sheriff's officials came to this area. We talked to a neighbor who lives very close here to the site of that Kokosing Lake, and who said around 2 o'clock everything changed from calm to sheriff's officials just whizzing by one after another, and then what appeared to be some sort of SWAT vehicle also that moved into this area. They were moving very quickly, and then the next thing you knew, Yankee Road, which is where we are here about 1.5 miles northwest of Fredericktown, was completely blocked off from any traffic. They sealed up all of the locations around here and set up what appeared to be a crime scene investigation. Tarps were set up for the investigation. Sheriff's officials were on the scene for several hours before we arrived here at the scene and started getting a little bit more information about what exactly was happening. But right now, as you mentioned, those 3 bodies being loaded up and taken away here from just northwest of Fredericktown. Guys?
Yeah, it looks like it would appear that the bodies have been loaded and they're getting ready to transport from that area along Yankee Road. Again, this is not far from the Kokosing. We understand it's a reservoir there. The river runs into that area, through that area, and it is just a sad day. It's a tragic scene. We were bracing for this for the last several days, really, since Sheriff Barber had mentioned that the thought of finding them alive was quickly fading. They hadn't heard from anyone. There had been no transactions on credit cards, debit cards, anything of that nature. And so, but people had worked so hard to search that entire area, very heavily wooded area, in hopes of perhaps finding them still alive. But it is the sad confirmation tonight. They have passed.
Really, so many people stepped forward to help in the search, and you can see there the hearses are moving now, leaving the scene. But so many people stepped forward who didn't even know these 3, who wanted to be involved, who wanted to help out law enforcement officials who were there and help in the search. And clearly, this is not the outcome all of those folks had hoped for.
classmates of Cody. We talked with several of those people of young Cody. Cody Maynard, and they were all out. They were working hard. They had their flashlights, certainly family and friends of all these people. And of course, this whole area where they were taken is a beautiful area around Apple Valley there up in Knox County, Howard, Ohio. It's such a tragedy to fall anywhere, and certainly there in such a beautiful area near Kenyon College, Gambier, and that area. Again, this is about 4 miles, we understand, northwest of Fredericktown. This is getting up really towards the border of Knox County, but the hearses, as you see in our Chopper 4 following, they are now transporting the three bodies, the three victims of Tina Herman and Cody Maynard and Stephanie Sprang. This story has been ongoing since the group was first reported missing last Wednesday. Now here are the fast facts on what has happened since then. Last Wednesday, co-workers became concerned.
Last Wednesday, co-workers became concerned when Tina Herman did not show up to work at this Dairy Queen. The next day, sheriff's deputies found blood inside Herman's home a few miles away in Howard, Ohio.
There was an unusual amount of blood in that house.
The discovery of her truck near Kenyon College in Gambier late Thursday night prompted a lockdown there, which was lifted hours later. The sheriff now says the suspect, Matthew Hoffman, was also seen near the truck late that night. Over the weekend, volunteers and sheriff's deputies combed wooded areas searching for clues, eventually finding Sarah Maynard inside Matthew Hoffman's home on Columbus Road in Mount Vernon. Monday morning, investigators shut down a park in Mount Vernon across the street from Hoffman's home after deputies found items there that may belong to the three remaining missing people. And Monday evening, last night, 2 cars were pulled from a lake in the park, neither deemed relevant to the investigation.
Since then, there have been very few developments. The searches have continued, but the sheriff predicted the victims would not be found alive, and that speculation again confirmed this afternoon when we learned, we're first to tell you, that the bodies had been discovered.
I just want to remind folks that we are awaiting a press conference right now from Knox County Sheriff David Barber. As soon as we hear from him, we will get to him for the latest there. You know, much of this story has centered around the extensive search and rescue effort by both volunteers and investigators. And our Steve Wainfor actually had the chance to follow along with those who spent the last 9 days searching for Tina, Cody, and Stephanie.
Now, Steve, I know you spent some time with several groups, but the Central Ohio Search and Rescue Team, they were the ones that are still there, probably the ones that located the bodies today, right?
That's the way I understand it, yes.
About 8 to 10 dogs, you were telling me. They range in type from shepherds to other kinds of dogs. But
yep, labs, things like that. Yep.
Okay, you had also mentioned the other day that the rain had perhaps had an effect in delaying discovering these bodies.
Right. On Tuesday when I was there, the rain started in, and I was told that hampers the scent and pushes it down to the ground, so the dogs could not pick up any kind of scent because there's no wind movement or anything like that.
Of course, it did dry out a little bit yesterday, and perhaps that helped. Right. Perhaps they were never even in this area. We don't know for sure, but certainly those dogs, they have the capability, what is it, like 100 yards?
At least that, at least that.
Scent?
Yeah, then they're trained to sniff this out and find human remains and also to rescue. So they're very capable, well-trained dogs. They combed that area, working toward each other and then back out again to comb the area thoroughly.
People, talk about the people that have these dogs and the dedication and their concern and their passion that day. They really, really wanted to find them alive,
yeah.
or just to find them.
Right. I talked to the head trainer, and he said, you know, we're out here for the sole reason of hoping to find them alive. He said that's and to end you know, the suffering that everybody has gone through, but they were really hoping to find them alive.
All right.
All right, thanks, Steve.
Steve, we appreciate you taking some time to be with us. Sadly, they did find them, but sadly they had died. So we appreciate your help, though, with that, Steve. And again, those dogs certainly did their job.
And again, as soon as we hear from the sheriff, we will get to that, because that will reveal some critical information. We would want to get to that right away. While the bodies have been found, this story is clearly not over. We have been told that a vigil is planned for 7:30 tonight. It will be held at King Beach. Family and friends will release floating candles in honor of Tina, Cody, and Stephanie. And we will have continuing coverage as this story unfolds, both on our news here on NBC4 and NBC4i.com.
Continuing to follow breaking news in Knox County this evening, the bodies of Stephanie Sprang, Tina Herman, and Cody Maynard now on their way to the Licking County Coroner's Office for autopsy there. The bodies were found this afternoon along Yankee Road near the Kokosing Reservoir in a large hollowed out tree.
We just heard from Knox County Sheriff David Barber. We will have the latest for you coming up at 6.